everybody! Welcome to Flash on Target. We are your hosts.
That is right. You can find us online at stayontargetpodcast.com.
I know it's right, Chris. If I would have posited it as a question if I didn't know if it was right.
How would you have said that?
We are your hosts.
Hey, everybody!
Welcome to Flash on Target. We are your hosts. Just kind of lift the last bit of every word.
I like that.
It's good. It's good. Okay, Chris. So lots of stuff happened on this episode of The Flash.
That's true.
But one of these days we are going to get an intro for this for the YouTube
for the video
YouTube viewers.
Yeah.
We already have the audio.
I think this is the first time that we haven't messed up the audio somehow on this.
Dude,
on one of
don't
them.
jinx it yet.
Okay.
The episode isn't over yet.
The thing was, I don't think we've ever messed up the audio on our mainline podcast.
This is true.
And then 2 weeks in a row, we were screwing up.
Dude, it's the video stuff that throws me off, man. It's the whole like, hey, click this and you gotta start the video.
Of complexity.
It is. It's just right on that threshold of like, is this too much? Is this too much for John's brain to handle?
I like your sweater.
It might be. Thank you.
You look very cozy.
Well, I put it on because it was a little bit chilly after we got done with the Arrow podcast.
Yes. It's a pretty chilly show.
It's a cold show, man. I feel like it's always like he's got the hood on. I feel like they've got to keep warm.
But The Flash is a very much warmer show.
It is, because he runs all the time. It's like, how can you be cold and be running all the time?
It's a lot friendlier show. So the big takeaway from this week is that he can't get drunk.
Dude, and also the big takeaway from this week is that Harrison Wells is a murderous fool.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Dude, that dude is just twisted.
So let's talk about the episode for a second.
Unpack it.
Yeah, unpack it. So we introduced not really a new villain. We started out as a kind of a villain, and then it was just more of a character.
That was a cool twist.
Yeah.
That was a cool twist.
I loved it because I was like, okay, finally, like, something about this show and that they've now broken, but especially about like Smallville, which I kind of compare this to all the time, is that everyone else who gets turned in, who gets given superpowers, do they use them for good? No. Nah. They use them for bad.
They're bad people.
And like that's not going to happen. You're going to have some people who are going to use them for good, or at least aren't going to use them on purpose for evil.
Right. And that's kind of the case we got into this time. It's like, while, technically she was bombing a lot of places, she was doing it by accident.
Yeah.
And really didn't have a way to stop it either. Didn't understand it and didn't have a way to stop it.
Were those special gloves he had her put on, though?
Yes.
Okay,
it seemed like it. It seemed like whenever she touched them, her reaction was as if she expected them to explode. Like, expected them to...
Yeah, that's what I was like, well, why has she tried that before? But, like, you're right. Like, they would just, like, she put them on her hands and then they explode or whatever.
I love the fact that...
I wonder how she gets dressed in the morning.
Dude, she probably is wearing the same outfit she was wearing whenever she...
That seems highly unlikely.
Does seem highly unlikely. Now, so, maybe she was... I don't know.
I mean, she doesn't blow up everything, obviously, when she touches it, but...
But some things, for sure.
Yeah. What if she gets frustrated as she's, like, trying to put on her jeans that don't fit anymore? Like...
Or, like, maybe whenever she's eating a sandwich.
Is it
like how do you get food to your mouth if it explodes every time?
Is it like whenever she is stressed out, it explodes? Or...
Maybe it's a fear reaction?
Nervous?
But I guess we'll never know.
Is it excitement?
It might be.
I'm really happy, and then things explode?
I don't know, man.
Nervous.
Or, nervous. It might just be nervous. So, we'll never know, though, because...
She's not dead.
She's not dead. And this was one of
disappointing.
The, like, I don't know, I feel like this was one of the most, like, sad throwaways that we've had yet.
Yeah.
And because she's a perfectly good character. That's what I said. Like, after it happened, I was like, they just killed a perfectly good character.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's just disappointing to me whenever a good character like that with such a deep, it seems like they could have done so much more with her.
Well,
like, investigate the past of her, the military career. There's a lot of stuff there that could potentially be investigated. She even like had those ties to being like a captive with this evil scientist guy.
Well, we know who to blame.
Harrison, duh. Yeah. And it's like, I don't know, that group, the group of evil scientists, seems to be a very small world because it seems like Harrison like has had business dealings with all of the evil scientists.
Doofenshmirtz. Dr. Robotnik. Those types of characters.
Oh, of course. Like the guys who twirl mustaches and they're
Dastardly Dan.
on Phineas and Ferb. The evil scientists have a group, And let me find out the anagram, but it's Love Muffin is nice. What it spells.
I mean, that's how he knows them all. He's a part of
Love Muffin. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I was super disappointed whenever she died, just because it's like, she was a cool character and she was finally someone who wasn't like, we're saving the bad guys now. We're not killing the bad guys every single time, but and then it just kind of like, man, like we're not supposed to like his character now, but I just genuinely dislike. What's his face?
Harrison?
Yeah, Harrison.
Oh, dude, he's
totally dislike him.
It's like if there was any question, I feel like for the last couple episodes, we may have forgotten at a certain point that he was a murderer.
Yeah.
But it's like in this episode, like this is something he has done that is unforgivable in my mind. That he was trying to not only kill all of his competition and murder them all, but he was going to manipulate her into doing it for him, and in the process, got her killed. And so, and obviously he meant for her to die no matter how that worked out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like this dude is just evil. Somebody did tweet and mentioned that they mentioned she has cellular regeneration properties, and they're saying that if they ever wanted her to come back, that would be a way to do it. But it's like that would feel cheap to me if they did that next episode. She's
blown to bits all over the ocean,
bay, or whatever it is. Yeah, and so I don't know. I don't know that I buy that, and I don't know that they're going to do that. But if they ever wanted to bring her back, maybe even with a different years from now, with a different actress or whatever, they potentially could if they really tried.
The thing I do like about her, though, she's a very memorable character. Much like you think about Arrow. One of the most memorable bad guys I think he faced were the people who would do the Queen and King of Hearts, that kind of stuff, those bank robbers early on. That was a cool, idea for these characters, and, I remember that. I will remember her character for a while.
Oh, yeah, dude. So, what do you think about the interplay between him and, Joe and Iris this episode?
So, I still love, Barry's interaction with Joe. I love their relationship. I love whenever he showed him the voice thing he does, and Joe just cracks up and is having the best time of his life.
It's such a dad thing to do. It's just oh my gosh, what did you just do?
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool seeing them interacting that way because yes, Barry's dad is in prison, but this is his real dad. We've acknowledged that before. But this is the person who raised him, and it's interesting to see him treat him as an adult, but still treat him as someone he loves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not super into Iris as a character right now.
Okay.
I don't think her storyline is compelling. Her desire to figure out who the streak is not that compelling.
I don't know. I thought that was this is the first episode where I've actually kind of thought that it worked.
It only worked because of her explanation for it, which is fine. We should have heard that a long time ago.
Yeah.
But then it's kind of now it's kind of okay, well, if that's her main motivation, I don't know why Joe would hesitate to let her know who Barry is at this point.
I think he just wants to keep her safe. I think he wants to keep her out of harm's way, which it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But I think that a lot of times, parents will have those types of reactions with their kids.
Yeah.
Is that, hey, I want to keep my kids safe, and so I have an unreasonable reaction to certain situations. I believe that. I did think that it was the worst idea in the world to try to have Barry convince her not to look for the streak.
I mean, I think that, because she's obviously not going to listen to her father.
That's true.
And he wanted it to come from a friend. And so, maybe her best friend, who she's grown up with all her life, could convince her. The problem is he's acting out of character and she knows it.
Yeah.
And so, she's not going to listen to him. She spent years with this guy, and, in a few months, he's been acting like this. And so, what are you going to base a lot of your decisions off of? How he acted for years before this, where he was very intrigued by this sort of stuff, and I'm sure got her intrigued in it. That's,
oh yeah,
he would have been all over this had he not been the Flash.
Of course.
And so,
of course. I mean, he went to Starling City just for that, to try to meet the Era.
I think that at some level she probably thought that he would be all in on this with her. They'd both be investigating stuff and trying to find the streak. And he's not. So and it baffles her. Yeah.
And so she just kind of misses her friend,
Yeah, I mean, to some extent, I think she described it this episode. She feels like he's lost hope or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think it's probably more sad for her than it is. It's not like she's excited. I don't think she is excited, but it's not like, hey, I'm just seeking some thrills here, or I'm a fangirl.
Yeah.
She legitimately wants to help Barry.
Yeah. So the opener. It was really fun whenever they were on the date or whatever you would call that. Like they were all hanging out. Team Flash was hanging out with Detective What's His Face and Iris.
Yeah,
I always forget his name.
Yeah, I forget his name too.
Always do. Anyway, it's because his strikingly good looks distract me all the time. The smile.
We'll go with that.
It goes ching on his teeth whenever he smiles.
Yes.
Anyway, that whole thing, like where they all left for different reasons, was pretty funny. And they were all going to the same place, but they all and so they ignored each other's excuses for leaving this thing, just because they were themselves looking for a way out. So that was really fun.
It says our stream is bad, John.
It does say it's bad. It's maybe we should amp up the content so it gets better.
What if that was it? What if YouTube was rating us?
Literally, there's a YouTube employee sitting there watching the stream going,
bad.
This is bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
Oh, it says it's good now.
Yay!
Yay! It's because we pointed out this dude. It's because
Yep.
we pointed him out.
So yeah,
pulled back the curtain.
It was cool
like
seeing
Wizard of Oz.
seeing all of their excuses for leaving or whatever. It was also cool, they brought up 2 times, this episode where he pushes limits, where and I still love the fact that there's science behind it. It's like, how fast do I have to run to go up the side of this building? How fast do I have to run to go across the water? There's still an explanation and science behind it. And
yeah.
That's something I continue to love about Barry's character, is that he is a forensic scientist. And you saw kind of a take on, we were talking on Arrow, how it would be cool if Oliver went out and did detective work looking for, spoilers for Arrow, looking for Sarah's killer. It would, I love seeing Barry do detective work, much like he did earlier in this episode whenever he was looking through all the files really, really fast.
That was cool.
And,
speed reading, dude.
It's got to be funny to be anyone else on the police force other than Joe, because he's like, oh, let's leave the room and let Barry do his thing. Then 2 seconds later, Barry walks out and hands him, hey, here's the evidence. It's like, what just happened in there?
It's like, who is this guy?
What is his thing?
He should blame it on psychic powers or something. That'd be hilarious, powers. Dude.
Yes.
I sense that it's coming from this side of the room.
Then John Jones shows up and says, I'm calling you out. You don't have psychic powers.
You can't do this.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. And so you wonder what everybody else is thinking there. But it's also whenever he interacted with director Singh, their boss, effectively, or whatever. It's like, it was interesting whenever there was this huge confrontation between, because Singh is he just seems like this really kind of a bummy kind of cop guy, where he's like, oh, just let him take the case from us. Let's let the army handle this.
Okay, so that was my big problem with this episode. That never happens.
But Singh has done that before on this show, where he's like, clean up this place, Barry. Where it's he's very much hey, it's all about the looks, and it's all about, hey, I wanna make myself look good.
Okay,
and so
I understand that aspect. I'm saying the military doesn't walk in and say, all right, I'm in charge now. Oh, it's like the Seinfeld, not the Seinfeld. It's like the South Park skit where he's like, I'm in charge.
That's right.
Of this. Not anymore. You're not.
Yeah, not anymore. You're
Who's in charge here? I am. Not anymore. You're not.
Yeah, dude. That was a great South Park.
But that doesn't happen. The military doesn't just come in and take over, willy-nilly, without there being an explanation. Come on.
This time there was that ulterior motive, but I do think that in the universe this works, because think about
in this universe,
in the DC
Waller.
universe, Amanda Waller for sure would do that, for sure.
I agree with that, but it's just kind of for a local police force to give control, or let's look at a real world situation, okay?
Yeah.
Let's look at Ferguson or whatever up in that happened this past summer.
Right.
Okay. At one point, because the local police force couldn't handle it anymore, they turned it over to the National Guard. Okay, that's who gets it. Not the. I mean, I guess this could be the National Guard. They just said the military.
The military. It's a branch of the military.
But for instance, they're not going to turn it over to the army. Why? Because there are American laws that say American military cannot operate on our own soil.
Yeah, and that's why we have the National Guard, because they deal with things here too.
Domestic.
You know? So, and they have the power to do that.
Right.
And it seems like in this universe, there's some weird governmental organizations that just have like just blanket carte blanche.
Yeah, just kind of like their own autonomy to do whatever they want.
And it's
because, like say like the National Guard decided to go in somewhere. Like, sorry, they have to be authorized to do so by someone above them. You know what I mean?
For sure. And it's like, but it opens the door for people like to be introduced. Like I think we posited on the Arrow show last week, on Arrow on Target, for people like Maxwell Lord to be involved, or for people like Lex Luthor to potentially be involved in this universe.
That's true.
To have those big, globally powerful villains who are, you know, they're evil people, but they're in charge.
That's true.
And so it's like, I think that is more and more, as we pull back and see more and more of this universe, we've got this really dark world out there. And so the superheroes bringing in the light.
Yeah.
Barry. Yeah. Let me see, what else did I have here? I don't know. I totally lost my train of thought.
Yeah, I mean, like, the rest of the episode, honestly, like, you know, we focused a lot on the relationship between Barry and Iris, and
there was an awesome wink in there.
There was an awesome wink. I loved the whole voice changing thing. His conversation with her on the roof was really cool. Like, it honestly, like, if I was her though, I would think he's an alien. Like, he just kind of behaves like that. It kind of reminded me of like, okay, what if Martian Manhunter was in this world? You know, like.
So cool, dude.
Yeah.
He could be, because like even in the DC universe for years, he was
a watcher basically.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, well, he was like he was a detective on the police force in New York City for a long time.
Yeah.
Crazy, dude. That would be awesome. And I'm excited to see more of that happen. Mm-hmm. I really hope over on Arrow that Ray Palmer turns into something cool. And not just a throwaway character like we discussed before. I hope that he really does expand the universe in cool ways.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't know where, you know, like, I don't like Harrison as, like, he's duplicitous. He is, especially at the end, you know, like, and I feel like every episode now is kind of like ending with him doing something bad. We kind of see where, what happened, or that cage, the teaser in the beginning was
Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah, was not just a throwaway tease.
Nope. I was excited about that because you posited that it was a throwaway tease, and I was like, I hope it's not, because that would be awesome if we see him. I don't know how that's going to happen though. It's like, because the CG to make that happen would be so expensive. Yeah. I feel like that's going to blow like a huge amount of your budget.
Yeah.
On Gorilla Grodd, and so it's like I hope that shows up somehow, but I don't know how it's going to. And if there's a gorilla running around in the city, like how is he getting around right now, like without being seen?
There's no way he's in this. I don't think he's in this city. He's got to be like somewhere outside the city or something like that, or like
in the sewer.
I mean, yeah, something like that. You know, like where he'll pop up and Harrison will be like, "Oh, that's where he is. All right, Barry, go take care of this guy.
Well, also
we made him. I'm sorry." Kind of like that gun. You know?
Yeah. Well, doesn't he have like bigger plans for? It seems like he has bigger plans for Gorilla Grodd because whenever he was, and so that also puts into perspective that could Harrison potentially see the future long before Barry was around, or see those newspapers long before.
Well, yeah,
Barry
I think that's
around.
What they've implied is that he created this accident himself in order to create Barry, because he knew that in order for Barry to exist, that's what he would have to do. And I think that's why, you know, like, because he's seen into the future, he didn't necessarily see Plastique on the team. I think that's why he was so anti-Plastique joining the team. You know, it's because he's like, you know, he knows that in the future, or at least the version of the future that he's seen, she wasn't there,
or she would cause problems for him. If,
maybe
she
that
continued
too.
To be there. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's like, it seems like he's got these big plans for people, and so it would be weird to see, or it's going to be fun to see what he has planned for Gorilla Grodd.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I don't know, Gorilla Grodd is a great character for the Flash, and he's probably my favorite Flash villain aside from Captain Cold.
Yeah.
And so I really am amped to see that play out, and how maybe Harrison is in that situation.
Yeah.
So.
Cool. I think that's all I have for this week.
All right. So boots on, boots off.
Boots on.
Boots on for sure. Was this the best episode yet, or was this? What was your favorite episode so far?
I don't know. Like, they're all kind of on the same level right now.
Yeah. The one with Felicity, like last week
Felicity
or whatever,
was amazing.
Or the last episode, I guess. That was great. You know,
Yeah.
just because it's Felicity.
Right.
And she brings like a level of coolness to the show.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would kind of put this one...
I love the reference to Felicity this week.
Oh, it was awesome. That was actually my very first quote, where she goes, my God, did I just sound like Felicity?
Yes.
That was awesome. But yeah, so yeah, this one's kind of like... I would feel like this one was second to potentially the Felicity episode, the pilot, and then this one. Mm-hmm. I liked this one a lot, just because of the good new character and the twist on the formula, rather. So, ready for some quotes?
Yes.
All right, so we have the one I just said. We have... You carry a blood kit in your purse. She goes, you have your hobbies. And then we cut scene. And then we have, if the universe wants something to happen, whether it be giving a young man lightning speed or putting two people together, it's going to find a way to do it. Mm-hmm. That was a nice interplay between Joe and Barry about the fact that Joe knows about his...
I thought that he said that to Plastique.
No, it was...
because she said... You know, are they working with you to get rid of your powers or reverse your powers? And he said, I don't want, they're not teaching me to get rid of my speed, you know, they're teaching me how to use it.
Yeah. No, this quote was, though, that probably informed this, though, because he had that conversation with Joe, and Joe was like, hey, if the universe wants to find a way to put you and Iris together, then it's going to find a way to do it, because if it wants the dude to have lightning speed,
right,
then, So, like, that interplay was fun because Joe knowing, and that was...
Yeah, the fact that he knows that, like, he's in love with Iris, like...
And not only knows, but obviously approves if he hasn't, like, put the kibosh on it.
Well, you've raised this kid, like, unless you raise this person to be a hellion, like...
Yeah.
Then you're going to be like, yeah, like, you are an upstanding person. I trust you with my daughter.
There you go. And he probably always has, since they were kids or whatever, so... yeah. And then we have... I would do anything, or I would do anything to get back what I'd lost. As would you. That conversation with Harrison and Plastique was nuts.
Yeah, there was a couple things, like, especially dealing with her, where she was like, she wants to get back to normal. She asked, Barry about it, and I liked his response. Like, his is not where he feels like this is a curse. I feel, she probably did, and I think some of the other villains they've introduced, like. I think they even said, first I thought this was a curse, but like now I'm using it.
Yeah.
I think that's a reaction that people would have, without Star Labs in their lives to explain it all. This is just an unexplainable thing.
Yeah.
I wish that they would have been able to give her more of an identity, and been like, hey, this is what you can do with it. This is how you can use it for good.
Yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, like, they're saying, basically Harrison's writing her off because like she can explode things, like she has this power for destruction, but like you could use that for good as well, just learn how to use it and focus it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and people, even military people like her, they throw things that explode all the time.
Yeah.
And that's not, that doesn't automatically mean that you're a bad person.
Right.
Or automatically mean that you only do evil.
Right.
So, yeah.
I mean, it's the whole thing where it's like, there's an illustration that people use, a lot of times where it's like, okay, a brick is not inherently evil. You can use it to build a building, a hospital, or you could use it to throw it through a window and hurt someone. Like it's not your ability that's evil or your skill, it's how you choose to use it, and it's just going to amplify the person that you are. So Barry's a good person, so his amplifies how good he is or seems. These other people who are villains, they have a more evil personality, so it amplifies that.
Yeah.
Hers, I think, was kind of more... I don't know. I thought hers leaned toward the good end. She just didn't know what to do with it.
Right, but she'd also been tortured or been tested on by this crazy guy for like so long, and then so it's like she obviously wasn't going to do this if she didn't want to.
Yeah.
She wasn't going to kill him if she didn't think he deserved being killed.
Right.
And so, and honestly, from a rights perspective, he probably does, because he was keeping her, all locked up and stuff, just the way he was Gorilla Grodd or whatever.
Right.
So I mean, honestly, it enhanced that aspect of her, but she had very good reasons personal reasons for wanting to do this. And then Harrison just used those feelings, turned them on their heads, and told her to go do this thing. So,
two other thoughts I had. I remember during this episode. I would love to see Star Labs, like what it looked like whenever it was like up in its heyday. Like they referenced it a couple times. I think the general referenced it, like
how far you've fallen.
Exactly. I would love to see what was it like whenever there was a bunch of people working there and they were like changing the world. Yeah,
the only thing we saw was whenever they turned on the particle accelerator. There were so many scientists there, and they were all celebrating and stuff, and it was all happy. But it would be nice to see to walk down the halls, because we've walked down the halls now of the police department. So it'd be nice to maybe have a flashback where we walk around, and to different areas of the place.
Yeah.
While it was running. So.
Yeah, that's the thing. There were no flashbacks this week, were there?
Other than the one with Gorilla Grodd, no.
So is that and did we have flashbacks last week?
Last time with Felicity?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but it seems like we're phasing that out, and that's
good.
A good thing.
Yeah.
Very good thing.
I agree with that.
Very good thing.
The other thought that I had was, hang on, I switched. I went on that little rabbit trail.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That was my fault.
This whole branching of things, I'll say the last quote while you think about it.
Okay.
And it is, powerful men have a way of avoiding consequences.
This is true.
This is true. And Harrison said this, and it's like, come on, dude. Say that into a mirror.
Yes.
Did you remember?
I did not.
Darn it.
It doesn't matter right now.
Well, if you think of it, next episode,
yes,
we will bring it back up.
All right.
Okay?
All right.
Remember that you have to bring it back up next episode.
I will.
Okay. All right, guys. If you guys want to follow us on Twitter, that's at JohnWright777.
And ChrisWright250.
And at Stay on Target Pod is the podcast's Twitter there. This week we covered the latest episode of Arrow on Target. We're covering some movie stuff, continuing November movie month on the main podcast. And we'll be talking about some games as well.
Yep.
That's it for this week. We'll see you next time on
Flash
on Target!